Hey everybody, welcome back to Captain of Industry. Hope you're having a sweet day. Hope you had a great weekend too. I took a couple of days off, had some parties to go to, if you will, family sort of things to do. Spent a great deal of time with my son. It's been a good break. So I hope you guys have had a chance to maybe get outside in the nice weather. If you have nice weather, do things with your family too. Check out the pipes. They're being buried. They're all built, all ready to rock. They're kind of filling in the last remaining gaps over here. A little big gap right there to do. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. All patched in there. Got a couple of divots here to fill in, and we're good to go. Now, I've got a couple of things happening here, and like I said, these next few videos, right, they're all about sort of trying to fill in the gaps and trying to get ourselves stable so that we can progress into the end game without having to think about it and worry about it too much. So part of this has to do with getting seawater over here so that we can use the excess steam we're going to be generating to get a ton of drinking water and not have to worry about that anymore. So you can see we've got this setup we did last video. I also wanted to show you that's sort of a border line, if you will, right here. I'm actually going to extend this to right here. As long as I don't build in this area, I believe I can upgrade this cargo port. So I just need to stay out of the yellow and everything else is good. Now, we've got these two pipes here. There's going to be two of them. At the moment, they're designated as pipe 2s, but we're going to make them pipe 3s. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that and make them pipe 3 here. It needs to be as low as it can go. It looks like it's about there, I guess. It needs to go about there. No. There we go. And then we'll take this outside pipe here, and we'll also go ahead and build that, again, as low as we can go with it, which is, I guess, here. Maybe I should just, to make it nice and even, should we just raise it up one? I don't think it will let me. Yeah, it won't let me. Oh, there it goes. That'll do. Okay. And we'll bring it all the way in like... Ooh. It is not cooperating. Raise it down. Bring it down to height 1 as you get to here. And now you got two straight pipes that are heading over like this. And I believe this will be stable. I believe this will hold. So we're going to let those pipes here happen too. Now we're not quite ready for those yet. So we'll go ahead and pause them. And I'm changing things up over here. You can kind of see I've dug down underneath here, and we're going to tier 1 here, or we're going to height 1 on this side. And it got most of this done already. I'm also allowing this to stay exposed for the time being, because I don't know if I'm going to want to yet, but I think there's a plan to bring some piped resources from over here and bring them over into this area. And I think it could be interesting. It may turn out to be a terrible idea, but I think it could be interesting to perhaps go through the mine to do that. It might just be a nice direct route. We'll see. If it doesn't work out, then we'll zigzag it around with the belts, and it's fine. So I'm going to just clean this up a little bit here. UI-wise, there we go. And clean that up, and we're good. So they're going to dump here to bring this down to height 1. And then instead of these pipes going across here over into this area and then over, which is what I was thinking about doing before, I'm actually just going to continue them under the ground underneath here and then connect them there, and then it'll be a straight shot here, and we'll have two pipes kind of on this little area, almost serving like a railing, which I kind of like. Maybe I would maybe put the other rail here just to make it look interesting, having the pipes on both sides of this bridge, but it doesn't really matter to me too much. So that being said, we're going to want to take this belt and bring it down, or the pipes anyway, bring it down to about here. And then this pipe is going to be brought down to here. And that will be our two underground pipes, okay? So we will take these and go basically that way alongside each other and alongside each other, and they'll go out like this, zigzag, and connect to there, okay? So that's our two seawater pipes. Now the seawater pipes are already done all the way out here, and I'll show you. They go all the way out here, connecting to their counterparts here. Did they not do that yet? Oh, I didn't mark it. Well, that's probably a good thing. This has nowhere to go actually now, so we're gonna just redraw you there, I suppose. And then we'll go ahead and mark it like this. And actually, this is kind of a big dip. I think maybe we could do this even differently here. Yeah, let's give them something else to do. We'll take and raise you up from this point to height 2. Just on this part. And yeah, we'll go all the way up into there with it. And then I think I want a ramp right here, right? Just to kind of give them another driving method. So we'll go in like that, and then also down like that. All right, that gives them something to do with the sand for now. Now, if you come over here, something else happened here. The mining tower, it finally collapsed. If you're curious on what happens, well, basically debris, rubble, trash, whatever is left behind, and it's actually gotten to the point where it's a little bit higher than the terrain. And so now it's telling me that these walls might collapse due to uneven terrain. So what I think I want to do, we've got all the mining has been redirected to this tower here. So now all the mining for copper is handled by this tower. But I think I'd really like them to dig this. I've got it marked right here to dig. And so as long as they can just dig a little bit here to get that trash out of the way, then these walls will stop bugging me. So what I might do is have this excavator focus on waste. And he might decide at that point to adjust himself. The other thing is, if we just keep digging here, this stuff will eventually fall. So, you know, actually, let's not do that. Let's instead, because this stuff is going to fall anyway. So why don't we just instead go in and tell this thing to mine just like this. Just to stay on the task and mine alongside the wall. And when the stuff collapses down, it will no longer be too high and everything should be fine, right? Okay, so that's enough for the pipes. Today, what I'd like to focus on is our fuel issues. We're low on fuel. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff here happening. Excavators have no fuel, fuel stations out of fuel, etc. And we're, again, at the peak of our means is where we've been with a variety of different resources. With coal, we're fine. This is basically full. And but you have no fuel. So what I want to do is address fuel in 2 different ways today. We're going to get started with distillation stage 3. And that's going to give us some additional resources like naphtha and fuel gas, just like the other area over there. Now, we're already burning light oil for steam. And so what we're going to do is we're going to redirect the light oil where it's already headed now, which is this tank. And we're going to redirect it instead to happen and get in over here, okay? We're going to do that through the waste pipe. And this waste pipe's being repurposed. So, actually, hang on. Don't do this yet. You stay right there because you have that. Okay, now we can go. Well, okay, here's the thing. I don't want you to have oil, so let's just get rid of this pipe. I don't want you to have anything, so you just get out of here. So I want you to create the remaining fuel that you can, and now you seem to be done. Good. Okay, so now you can get out of here. This one here has no fuel built up. If I turn it on, it does make one more load of fuel, which is fine. So we'll have you make that one last load of fuel, but then we're gonna stop feeding you oil. You're not allowed to have any more oil, and then we'll wait for that to go, and it's gone. Okay, so now we're gonna take and get rid of you as well. So with these 2 things gone, distillation, basic distillation, whatever, is now a thing of the past, and so we don't need these belts anymore. And I'm actually gonna reroute the coal so that it's a nice straight line. We'll bring it right like this. Well, at least I thought I was going to, but it looks like I'm going to have to get rid of some of these pipes first. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of this, this, and this. And then we need you to go, you to go, you to go, go, and go. Well, I didn't want the waste pipe to be destroyed quite that far. If I can get the waste pipe to only be destroyed until, let's say... Wait, you're not the waste pipe. You're not the waste pipe at all. You can go. Yeah, you actually can go. This one's the waste pipe. And I want you destroyed up until about, let's say, there. You might need a little bit more room. Let's have you destroyed up until about here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to reroute using this wastewater pipe that we don't need anymore. When I design things like this, when I'm looking for compact designs like this, I'm also looking to do certain things with an idea in mind that when we get to later technologies, I can repurpose certain things that are already built for new purposes. One of those things is the wastewater pipe. That's why it's set up over here. And instead of going like straight to the water or over here for the dump, it's actually traveling all around here and going over this way and then over. So I could use it for multiple purposes, but also later we're gonna send it other things through it. So for example, here, we're gonna be sending light oil through that pipe all the way over into this area so that we can process the light oil. And then part of the naphtha is gonna use the second half of the waste pipe and it's gonna be sent that direction. So we'll talk about that in a second. So what I'd like to do, now that I've got this pipe out of the way, let me just finish the coal. We're just going to bring it to be about, I don't know, here, and then kind of want it to maybe raise up faster than that, I guess. Yeah, and then it can go in something like, come on, right there. Yep. Good enough for me. All right, and then I can go ahead and eliminate that as well. So now we have a coal pipe or coal belt that is just straight going in here, and it goes out that way, which is just fine. Okay. Now we have these extra pipes. We're going to be rerouting these and kind of moving them around a little bit as we get the cracking units in. But the cracking units, even though they'll be here, I haven't really figured out exactly where I want them to be positioned yet to set them up for longer term. The cracking units are going to be used to generate more fuel by utilizing the excess diesel, right? That was always the plan. The problem over here, though, is that there isn't actually any excess diesel. So we're going to have to create diesel a different way over here just to kind of shift it up. And then, well, I'll show you what I mean. So distillation stage 3 is going to take light oil. What we're going to do for this, the wastewater pipe is right here. If I can get the camera to rotate, thank you. Wastewater pipe is right here. We're obviously not using this anymore. So I'm going to take it from here, and we're going to stay height 2 all the way over to here. And then I'll go over top of this, although I think probably better to go height 1 here. We'll go over top of it to about here, I think. You can make do with it here. And then from this point, we'll go height 1. And we're going to dip straight down and into there. And then you go across like this. Now, I could adjust this to be a little bit closer. And I think I will. Just for the sake of being really compact. This is going to be a very compact build. And I think that's a good thing. I think I want it like that. So we're going to probably get these things to compact into each other. So with that being said, what I'll end up doing is coming right over top of where my steam pipe will be. And I actually think I'm probably going to need the steam pipe to be built here first to do this. So let's do the steam pipe first, just so I make sure I'm not in the way. So these things are right up against each other, right? And so you're going to get this disabled bit, but if you go just a little bit further, right, then you get the connector and it's automatically ready to rock. That's what I'm looking for. So we'll do the same thing over here. A little bit further. And then back it off. And then we want to do the same thing with the fuel gas. But I think I got to move everything forward before I do it. And it'll be much easier to move this in if I can get these to cooperate. So tell you what, let's go just a little bit further with you. I just want to make sure my pipes underneath are not in the way of the steam. So it goes about like that. Actually, it needs to be a little bit further back. Yep. Right there and right there. Okay. From there, we should be able to take it directly across, directly above the steam pipe. And we're going to come down as tight as we can. And it's going to be incredibly... ooh. So I'm thinking that because this has to go underneath. There's not enough room to do this. So this is actually as compact as we can go because of how I'm designing this. Okay, so this is the maximum compactness we're gonna have. That's fine. We'll just do it here and then put this like so. There we go. And then this will be directly off the fuel gas pipe. Now the fuel gas is gonna have to go backwards for a little bit in order to make this happen. So we're gonna come from this side, like that, and then like that. Then delete. We get the connector. All right, and then we're actually gonna go that way, but we can't because we won't be able to connect here since it's going that direction because this is an out port. So I'm gonna have to do this, then flip the direction on this. And then with that flipped, I can then put it into there. And then finally take it that way. And then delete this. And then I can flip this again. Okay, so those pipes are designed correctly. And I'll do the pipes off the video because I don't want to spend the entire video doing lots of pipes and stuff. There's a lot of piping to do, but I just wanted to show you that we'll take height 1 above these that are going underneath, and we're just going to, from there, bring it down, and then plug it in into, well, if I can, if it'll let me. Hey, wanna play fair, please? There you go. Now it looks like this is blocked now, and I was trying to avoid that, right? So I guess we'll pull that back. This one's already put in. That's why that works. So we need to get these in before we can put the ones above it. And then back that off. And then this one in here like this. Like so. And then we'll back that off. And now I can put this like it's supposed to into there. Yep, same thing over here. Bring it down as fast as we can and then stick it in there. Okay, and we'll do like I said, I'll do the rest of the piping and stuff with a cut because there's a lot to do today, and I want to show you that what I'm up to here. So that's going to be the routing for steam, which is going to come in from the sides here. That's the routing for steam, and also the routing out for fuel gas and the routing in for light oil. Naphtha is going to get separated into two places. We're going to send 3/4 of the naphtha in for the burners to create additional steam. We're actually getting a little bit of a loss on this. We're already burning light oil to make steam. Now we need to burn light oil, add steam, and get the same amount of naphtha that we were burning for light oil. So we're actually net negative on steam in that trade. But where we make it up, the difference anyway, is with the fact that we're also making fuel gas, and the fuel gas can be burned as well. So we're also going to be burning a lot of the fuel gas, at least 2 burners worth, or 72 units worth of fuel gas will get burned off for additional steam. And that's where we'll end up making extra. So part of the fuel gas supply is going to be redirected into another workflow with air separators that have oxygen, and we're going to use that workflow to take the fuel gas plus the oxygen and create additional diesel. That's going to increase the supply of diesel that we have, and hopefully that means we're using a little bit less oil, since when these things fill up and they're like waiting to deliver diesel, they shut down and stop, and that of course stops us from the heavy oil side, which of course stops us from using oil. We still need more oil to come in, so I'm still going to need to upgrade the other oil rigs on the map and find more oil rigs. I'm going to need to do that too. But this is going to help us in the short term to alleviate that. So we're going to use cracking units to take the fuel gas plus oxygen and get diesel for that. Okay? Now the second thing we're going to want to do is eventually we're going to stop doing this too, and we're going to start using it for something else, because naphtha is a more efficient process to do this with. We're going to take 18 naphtha. We're going to combine it with hydrogen to make fuel instead. And we're also going to get fuel gas as a byproduct. That has to be done after tier 4 research begins. So all the way over here, lab is here. We want hydrogen production. Hydrogen production allows us to take the 36 fuel gas we're going to be making, add a little bit of steam, create 36 hydrogen, and then with that process being 36 and 36, we can then shift that hydrogen in with heavy oil. See what we're doing there? And we're going to use the heavy oil to create additional naphtha, additional fuel gas, as well as additional diesel. Okay, so we can create all these other resources that we're using to create steam and power vehicles, and we can finally do so in a more efficient way than just simply burning the heavy oil in a boiler. And we need hydrogen in order to do that, which means I need this research right here, hydrogen production. We're going to have that in the queue to be worked on as well. But all of that's going to be incremental. It takes time to get to there. It takes time to get to that stuff. So again, I will be doing most of the piping and stuff for this workflow offline in a second. I'm going to use this time, though, to transition into our final little thing that we're going to be working on for this video today, and that is redirecting glass. So upon looking back at my decisions, I've decided that I'll turn all these things on again, too. Upon analyzing my decisions, I guess, it has come to my attention that I probably didn't choose the right... hang on, let me add just a little bit more lab equipment in here. So I'm redoing this, right? So I'm preparing myself for lab parts 3, the red parts for labs. And in so doing, I've disconnected this belt, and I'm having it fed now from trucks so that I don't overfeed this. I can obviously just empty it later back into this, but I'd rather not do that if I can avoid it. So I think we're going to go ahead and shut these two down. We'll go really light on making parts for now. But I need enough to where we can get fruit done. And then once fruit is done, I think that's pretty much everything in the previous tier, aside from canola. You have to find the seeds in order to do canola, so I'm not going to wait around for those. I'm going to go right into this because I need hydrogen production, and I would also like to get my vehicles. And that's the next thing that's queued up, is to get more vehicles. So I'd like to get that done too, raising the vehicle cap. But for now, trucks are going to deliver away from this storage unit, and they're going to drop them into this storage unit instead, and just a little bit at a time. And that's going to allow us to finish fruit without having to use lab parts 3 on fruit. But I want to say I don't really know if it's the right call still, but household goods, right? We're delivering it with trucks. You can see we're not actually keeping up necessarily with it. The total sediment need is 42.7. And assuming we're feeding glass at a good rate, we should be making a lot more than that, but we're not feeding glass at a perfect rate yet. I can work on that and get that taken care of in the future. All of this glass, though, we need to redirect. So these storage units were never really a permanent place for glass. I sort of put these in here so that I could use Unity to upgrade these really quickly. But they never really were the permanent place that I was going to have them. In truth, I don't really have a permanent place in mind, but what I am seeing is that we're going to need to redirect glass into this area because glass is required for the lab parts 3. And because glass is required in here, I kind of regret having these truck delivered now. Because had I delivered the glass here, I could have easily delivered steel this way, and then all I would have needed to do was to take a long belt, follow along the glass belt that we make, and deliver wood this way too. And then I could have had basically household goods created and belt delivered into town. So in hindsight, maybe I should have done it that way. And I still can. It's not super expensive to do it that way, so I may still do that. But for the time being, we're just going to route glass for now. And we'll leave it to be truck delivered since I think the truck deliveries are adequate for the time being. We don't use constant power on the belts, but we will be using constant power on this belt. So here's what we have for glass. There is a belt over top of iron, and this is a longer term belt, which is why it's extended way over here. We're only going to be using this small portion for now, but this will get used as our main glass belt later. You'll see how that build is going later on. I've also decided I won't be making a 4th set of these, just because this is adequate for production as long as we can keep up the pace with delivering the resources. And I won't be able to support 8 of these. You'll see what I mean later. I won't be able to support 8 of these. I can only support 6. So it's fine. We'll just have them. And yeah, you'll see what I mean later. I'll fill you in on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the glass that's coming up this belt here. We're going to redirect half the supply this direction. And that supply it needs to go faster probably too. So this is already an upgraded conveyor, so actually it's probably good. What I want to do is create another storage unit, and that storage unit is going to get placed right here, like this. It's very tight. Let's go one more out. It's going to get placed here. This belt from here is going to have glass, right? And that glass is going to go up, and we want to go over here at level 2, so I actually should go from this side. We need to go up to level 2 and then over so that we don't block the trucks. And we end up being right over top of this belt, okay? Man, I really wish I could get one of those stanchion things to just be here instead so that I know I don't block the trucks. Can I get you to do that instead? Yeah, like that. That's fine. We're gonna go over top of this belt and make our way over to about here, if I can get it to cooperate with me. Good for now. So this is going to be our glass delivery belt. What we'll do instead for creating lab parts 2 is we'll have one of them be located here. Let's go one more out. One here and one here. Now, I don't know if we can actually facilitate this many, and it might just be one of those situations where I have to only have one of these working. For the time being, I'm going to pause this one. But what we'll end up having here by doing this is we're going to be able to create lab parts from lab parts 2 and glass. And the glass will get fed from this belt over into here and into there like that. And the lab parts 2 will come from this storage. So with that done, we don't technically need this bridge right now. I could remove it, but I'm trying to avoid doing so, although I think I have to do it anyway, don't I? Yeah, the bridge actually has to go anyway. So let's get rid of this bridge. And we can also get rid of that belt. And that doesn't block trucks right now either. Guy's a little confused. They can always come in from this side as well. So this is going to be our new home for glass. So what I want to have happen here is I'm going to tell them to fill this up, and I'm going to tell them to empty this one. And what we're going to do is destroy this belt right here. And this is now the only method in which this glass will go up into this area for now. Eventually, it will already have been on this level, and it'll be coming in from this side. But for now, it's going here. When they empty this out, they'll put it over here. See that truck? It's going to take it over into this area. That will allow the glass to now funnel up this way. So we should now be able to make lab parts 3 by a simple means of just simply connecting from here, like that. Okay. That should be no problem. So we're going to have you go ahead and create lab parts 3, lab equipment 3. Okay. We're going to take the conveyor that we've just made, and we're going to go up to lab part, or go up to 2, please. Can you cooperate, please? You're so clean until now. Right there, that's fine. And then you're going to go this way, and you're going to dive down to level 1. Okay. And you're going to go across here, and you're going to get ready to just go that way. So we'll have this go in like so. Although it's looking like I need to go out more. I'm okay with this. I can deal with that. That's fine. As long as it works, I'm okay. Put that in there like that too. All right, so this will now deliver glass to make lab parts 3. Very good. We can turn this on. We'll need both of them running now to facilitate this. And I want to keep an eye on my electronics. Looks like it's dying down a little bit. So for now, we're just going to have this be where glass is. But I am eventually going to take a belt from right here. You can see it's already built. And this is going to be routed over to where it's connected here. But I haven't decided if I want to put another bridge right here and go underneath that first. There's 2 bridges here. So I don't want to block trucks, and I don't want to block excavators from moving through this area either. There's a nice solid way of excavators being able to move through here, right through here. So the excavators can come through and do that. Speaking of excavation, we're dipping down into iron quite a bit here. I went ahead and I built my walls. So this is going to protect my my mining areas here. I'm ready to mine the entire thing out because all the walls are built. So we're just going to take and pull away my testing lines, or my more informational squares, if you will, here. And there we go. And then all we're going to want to do now is stay at -2 and just fill it in. At least to here. I actually want to keep this bridge until... Nope, never mind. That's done. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll tell them they can cut into this. Now, we need to be careful we don't get too close to the ocean, right? We don't want to get too close to the water. Otherwise, the whole thing gets flooded, and we don't want to do that. I'm tempted to just go ahead and not do that for now. I think this is fine. But the corner might be a problem, because if this starts to cave in, even a slight cave in here would result in us having a flooded mine, and I don't want to do that. So we're just going to leave it like that. I want to say this is safe, but it's just not worth it. It's a little bit extra there. And then eventually we'll put in some walls so that things don't cave in at all when we dig it out. So we're looking pretty good here. Got lots of iron happening here. And what I want to do with this little area, you can see if we take a look at the toggle overlay, trucks can move through here just fine until here. They won't be able to pass through this area, but that's okay. The ramp to get into the mine is eventually going to be right here. And so the mine, as it dips in, right, we're going to have that. I think it's this red area, actually. Yeah. No, it's right here. This is our ramp into the mine from here. And so, like, they'll go through this, and then maybe... I don't think I need to on this side, but I mean, it doesn't really hurt, I guess. We could put the retaining walls on this side of the ramp too. Like I said, I don't really think it hurts anything, but maybe I want to build something near the shoreline here. And if that's the case, then this would protect that in that event, right? So, okay. We're almost getting out here enough to where we can get limestone put in. And so we'll start getting limestone routed in so it could be with the steel and the iron and everything for the blasts. And then the final thing I'm going to do on this side is I'm just going to get rid of these two. And we're going to change them. Instead of being 2 iron, we're going to be 3 steel. So it'll not double our steel, but it'll have a substantial increase in the amount of steel we're generating. Speaking of steel, it's pretty backed up. And I think mechanical parts are very good right now. We might be struggling a little bit on electronics. I just want to see, is there an alternative recipe for electronics that I'm missing? Rubber and copper. And it doesn't look like there's any additional recipes for this. Okay, so I'm going to need additional copper. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, copper? What's happening here? Missing input. You're missing water. Are we out on water? Water? Are we out of this? So I think what's happening here is that we're getting water exclusively fed. No, it should be acid, not water. So you're out of acid. Yeah. Okay, hang on. No, we're out of acid. Now, the acid for this is being made over here. I have a priority out, so that you must be low on sulfur. If you're low on sulfur, that means we're not doing enough sour water stripping. So we're low on sour water as well. Okay. If we're low on sour water, that means we didn't have enough oil, because the oil is needed to create the sour water. So that means, yeah, we were just low on oil. So if we can fix the fuel problem, fix the oil problem, it might help us a little bit here, right? I think that'll help a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to work on the piping for this stuff here. I'm going to get the cracking units kind of positioned here. We'll probably repurpose a little bit and maybe destroy and reroute some of these pipes to clean it up a little bit. And then, yeah, so glass is going to be going into here. We should see lab parts 3 being made now. That's great. And then when you're done with that, when fruit's all completed, because I still need fruit to be done. So let's go ahead and put a little pause on this for now. When this is all done, we have fruit completed, what we'll do is we'll just change this to be lab parts 3, and then we belt it to it, and then that's it. And then now we have all the different parts being made. Yeah, pretty much. The electronics is an issue though. I clearly am not able to generate enough lab parts with the amount of electronics I'm making, so I'm gonna need another source of electronics. And most likely the plan was to just put another one right here. So most likely this is what I end up doing. I don't think I can get copper here though. I messed that up. I don't believe I can get copper into this. And so what I may do instead is redo it to where all electronics are made right here. So we can gut these 3 machines, face it this direction instead, and do like a 6 machine layout. And we can do kind of a similar thing that we did here with the pipes, although you can't do it this tight with belts because belts require that extra space to do it. But you can do this, of course, with pipes like we are. So I may need to redo something like that too, just to generate enough electronics. Obviously, it's an acid issue right now though, and so to make acid, I just have to fix this. So let me get this stuff working, let the naphtha working and stuff, and I'll be right back. All right, so I got the pipes all routed and stuff and cleaned up. We got 6 out of the 8 units here that we're going to be making here. Now, you're going to notice my maintenance is dropping. And that's all because of copper. It's really because of acid, right? And it's also because of sulfur. So, like, you just got to go back in the chain. And it's because of oil, right? So, we're trying to look at getting more oil in here, too. I've got 316 red parts, and that is unfortunately not enough to upgrade any of our oil rigs. But that's not even the problem. The oil rigs aren't the problem as much as just getting enough fuel into the boats to get them to go over here, because they're actually full. The oil rigs are full. It's all fuel. So again, that's what we're trying to solve right now is the fuel problem. So I think once we address that, everything will just sort of work itself out. So yeah, 6 out of 8 of these are done, and we've got everything routed around. Naphtha is going to be routed over here like this. So all the naphtha comes around this direction, except for a small amount. We're going to have a small amount of it actually headed this direction instead. We'll talk about that later. And so once all that's taken care of, we now need the light oil to get routed into the pipes that we had before, right? And so those pipes, as you know, are right here. It's right here, right? Is what we're trying to get the naphtha routed into to be over into this area. So we come over here, and it's this pipe just sticking out right here. So let's get that pipe routed over to the light oil tank. And this is definitely spaghetti. It has to be in this particular instance, but it doesn't have to be super unclean, okay? It can be better than you think, okay? So we're gonna put this like that, and then underneath like that, okay? So it's kind of nested underneath these tanks. And I think the idea is with the anti-spaghetti, if you will, is as long as you're stacking the pipes, it kind of doesn't look that bad, in my opinion. It's, of course, my opinion, and I'm not somebody who likes the persistence of non-spaghetti pipes, so I suppose my opinion doesn't matter as much. But if you stick them underneath and you're stacking them, it doesn't look that bad, okay? Now, we have a lot of pipes here, and not all of them are being used, at least not yet, because we've gotten rid of all this stuff over here. And you can see everything is nice and straight through here now. There's no problems. I've taken all the different pipes and gotten rid of them. The 2 oil pipes that split and go different directions no longer do. Instead, it's now a single pipe with 450 output that goes across here now for oil. So we'll be probably consistently getting oil delivered into these units, which is important because these 2 produce fuel, and that fuel goes immediately and directly into here. And so we need basically these ones producing as much as possible because they are the ones that are providing fuel here. I do have exports on this tank, and I have told trucks to bring it here manually. At least I thought I did. There it goes. So they should be taking fuel out of here with the trucks too, but it's obviously not what we're looking for directly, right? So let's talk about the cracking units, because those are going to be here too. So the cracking units, and I'm leaving it paused just because I don't need to deal with maintenance while I'm building this, right? The cracking units are going to, for now, take fuel gas, and they're going to create some diesel. I also would like to have, at least for the time being, some of them are going to take a little bit of the naphtha resources and generate fuel gas. But for now, We're just going to use the excess fuel gas with oxygen to create diesel because this process doesn't require us to use steam. We can then take steam later if we want to and convert it from other things. This could also generate some sour water for us. So we absolutely want to be doing this soon, but not yet. We have to generate more sour water because we're just using more resources now that come from it. And so I have to generate more sour water. So for the cracking units to start, I'm going to put a couple of them over here. These are going to process the fuel gas. I believe it's 36 every 60 seconds, and these are going to be generating 18, 36. So we can have 4 cracking units. Yeah, 4 cracking units can be working that. And that's going to generate for us 64 diesel fuel every minute, which should be a substantial amount to help us offset this. So we're going to say we want to go like this. And I think I'll go probably right up against this pipe. I don't think I need any extra space, but you know, it's right around the time where I don't think I need it, then I end up needing it, right? And obviously we're going to be feeding oxygen to this too. So we want to have, I think probably about like that. And we'll flip it over and go, I think we'll go like this for now, and then I'm going to slam them together later. Yeah, that's how we'll do it. We'll slam them together later. So let's talk about these. These 4 are going to be handling fuel gas. So we'll have this be the formula for all of these. All right. There we go. These only have one formula, so I don't have to select that. Are you... Okay, we're already feeding them steam. So I've hooked up the steam. Pretty straightforward thing. I went off of this balancer right here. This is the final balancer in the whole system. So the steam travels through here and goes everywhere it needs to go and eventually ends up over into this balancer. And this balancer then distributes it to the rest of the way or wherever it needs to go. And now there's an out here. One of the spare outs we hadn't used yet is now feeding steam into this direction, and it goes and hooks up to all of these. Now, each of these are only taking 3 apiece, so there's not enough steam being needed here to even saturate one small pipe. So that's pretty efficient if we can handle that. Okay, so with all the fuel gas is going to be consolidated into here. And of course, I'm going to need to upgrade this fuel gas line, but for now, that's where it's going to go. Now, the other fuel gas line is here, and I need to route this. I still haven't done that yet. I need to route this fuel gas line to go over into here. And now that I look at it, I kind of feel like I want to go the other direction. I think I can go the other way with this instead. Yes. So I think what we'll do is let's flip this over, change that direction, changing the plan again. But we're going to go underneath this, right? Which will be more than fine. Nobody will think that's a bad thing. And there we go. And so we end up with essentially 36 units of fuel gas from these two, 36 from these two. That's more than 60. So this actually needs to not be level 1. And going on that note, it's looking to me like I probably should have... These two are going there. That's going to be 36 anyway. So this one needs to be upgraded. And then this one needs to not be this. So we need to upgrade you. There we go. And we're going to go this way with it and pop it into there. Okay. Fuel gas being delivered to these. I'm going to put a pause in this one and this one in these for now. I'll let them build that because I'm definitely going to have that. But if you pay attention, you notice there's going to be 2 outs here for fuel gas that are not currently being used. And this is another effort to reduce our consumption of diesel fuel. Okay, so currently rubber uses diesel. Oh, I misread this. Well, I'll direct the naphtha instead. That's no big deal. The naphtha is now going to be used for sulfur instead. Okay, so the fuel gas can just be hooked up to there. That's no big deal. And then the spare naphtha from these two, instead of going that way, we'll hook it up to the pipe that I'm going to have going this direction, which I already have going this direction. It's right here, but it's fed all the way over from this side, and you see it's connected to where our diesel fuel comes out right now. So we're going to modify that. And actually, I've already routed it for this purpose, so maybe I just keep it. Yeah, I've already routed it for this purpose, so whatever. We'll just let it be. So what I want to do is we're gonna hook up to this, and I need to do that in a way where it's just not really close to the junction point. So I just need to eliminate it. So again, this is where the diesel goes to rubber, and so we're just gonna take this point here, and we can just gut it. I think we could just gut it right here, I guess, all the way down to the bottom. No big deal. From there, we can then drop you down low and head this direction. And we'll then just go in like so. And then I'm going to eliminate this connection because I'm going to have you connect there instead. And actually, if our rubber is... if we're good on rubber, right? If we don't need any more rubber, then I should actually send it towards the other direction, right? Yeah, that's probably better. So let's just put a pipe balancer in here because I think it's probably best to do that anyway. We'll put it in like this. Kind of want to step it back because it needs to have room to rise. Yeah, I think I need to step it back to at least here because it needs room to get up and connect to this again. Yeah, I think so. So let's have this be like this. And then you go up like that. All right, and then we'll have you connect there. No big deal. And you can connect here. And now the pipe balancer will determine where it goes, because I think that's probably for the best anyway. So we'll be able to consistently deliver naphtha now for rubber. So I'm going to switch this formula to be naphtha instead. Naphtha instead. Flop that up there like that. Flop that up there like that. And you know, we can turn these on later once we're not full on rubber. I mean, we're totally full on rubber anyway, so whatever. It's all, the maintenance right now is all about copper, which is now starting to come in. That's good. And it's coming in because, you know, a little bit of sour water happened, but also because I decided to take the tank, this buffer tank right here that was there just for the time being. I mean, it's like a temporary thing until we get the oil fixed right now. But with this truck export off, this pipe comes up, right? It merges with the other one. I've simply changed the direction of this pipe, and that automatically gets, with changing the direction of this pipe, it automatically puts it into the tank over there for acid, wherever that acid tank is. I've lost it now. It's over here somewhere. Probably right in front of my face. It's probably right here, yeah. So it'll redirect it into there. All I have to do is change the direction of this pipe. Okay. So with all of these things being done, the last thing we're going to need to do for at least processing fuel gas is we're going to need some of these oxygen separators or air separators. I'm not entirely sure where I want these, so I'll probably finalize that decision offline. But I was thinking of putting them right next to the oil tanks here because I don't think there's too bad of a problem with that. And I could probably fit them right back in here, but I don't want to get too close because there's tanks. You can see the pipes in here. There's some pipes in there to connect to, and those pipes have specific purposes to connect to. And additional cracking units, I think, were supposed to be in here when I was thinking about this because that's my exhaust pipe. So probably I could just separate the air over here next to this. This keeps it out of the way. It gives me room for more if I want more. Yeah, I probably will put it here instead. So these will be two air separators, and then they'll feed the oxygen where it needs to be, which is over in here. So we'll have fuel gas dropping in here, oxygen dropping in here. Carbon dioxide comes out and goes into the exhaust pipe, which is the same exhaust pipe that we were using for the basic distilleries before. So we're just repurposing the same pipe we had before for a different purpose, right? Same installation, no big deal. And then that pipe right there, of course, is for diesel. That's feeding into that diesel tank. And so, as you might have guessed, we'll then have our diesel from these feed into that pipe. It's right there, very easy to access, and done. So that's going to be the workflow that we're going to have. I'm going to try to build this out, see if I can't fight off maintenance long enough to get it built, and I'll be right back. All right, so we got most of the stuff firing now. That's a good sign. Seeing all this stuff is a good sign. I'm still trying to push through the maintenance issue, but it's starting to work itself out, which is what I thought would happen. It just needs a little bit more sulfur to be made, which means I need the heavy oil to continuously fire. And yeah, so if we can just get the ship to reliably go get oil, I think that's pretty good. Now I've got 2 of the air separators on this side of the fuel tanks. This is where I thought it made sense to make it, since I really want cracking units to be through here. This pipe might change in where it ultimately ends up, depending on how those cracking units go in. But I've managed to put the cracking units in like this. I think it's pretty good, very compact. You can kind of see how it's laid out if I go into the copy tool here and just sort of highlight it like this. The pipes, right? I guess I'll just show you this way. This is our oxygen pipe coming from over here, and this is a little bit wonky, but again, it's probably going to change, so I don't really care where it is right now. All of these eventually go in with a balancer here, because I may end up putting the oxygen somewhere else, putting it to work another way. The nitrogen, it's just getting burned off right away. We don't need it. It doesn't pollute. We're just going to go ahead and do that. Eventually, we'll probably have a use for the nitrogen, but for now, that's where it's going. And then each one of these that are creating fuel, right, diesel here, and this just started, so we'll see how that has an impact. It looks like it's already starting to go up, and this is going to end up routing around and getting into that pipe, which was our fuel pipe in the beginning anyway. Now the hope here is that if we can get this part to be fairly stable, then we can get this thing to be fairly stable. And for now, trucks are going to take the fuel from here. They're going to empty it out of here, and they're going to bring the fuel over and put it into this. At least I hope that they will do that anyway. And that's going to allow this cargo depot, you can see it's starting to fill up as well. As these fire more often, these will fire, and then they'll provide fuel here. So that's all I really needed, right? I just needed more sulfur. You can see it's starting to flow through here. We're going to start getting sulfur into this side here too. This is our priority out, but these things will receive sulfur if that doesn't. And then right now, currently, this is redirected, so we are still trying to fill the acid tank here. And once this is full again, then I'll redirect it back. But for now, we don't really need a whole lot for glass because we're cranking out on the research too. You can take a look over here. We did start research for a little bit, but I paused it because I was down on maintenance and electronics, right? I didn't want these things to consume electronics if we don't have them. So as soon as I'm confident that electronics are restored to normal and stable, I'll go ahead and turn this stuff back on. But in the meantime, here you go. We have distillation happening right here, and then the fuel gas is of course going this way, but the naphtha currently doesn't have all that many places to go. So in this arrangement with these 8, we're only creating 12 every minute for each one of these. So if you do the math on that, that's 48 for a sequence of 4. And each one of the boilers takes 48 in order to... Oh, it's 36. My bad. I didn't see that. Okay, so it's not 48. That's the fuel gas. So naphtha, right? 36. And so what will end up happening here is there's going to be just a little bit of spare naphtha, right? And that little bit of spare, what I want that to do is I want it to feed over into here, right? I want it to go here. So the little extra is going to just funnel into this pipe here. This used to be our diesel, but now it's going this way. And so you can see that we have this one connected and this one connected, right? So half of the supply from this one goes this direction. And then the entirety of the supply from this one goes this direction. And then this one just goes straight on. And so what you end up with is basically 1.5 of these are directing their supply, if they can, as a priority out over to rubber. And if rubber is full and there's nowhere for it to go, then we'll go up and we'll wrap around and we'll feed it into these 2 boilers, which you can see are firing right now. At least that one is. And so we're generating more steam with that, and then it goes back into the circulation. So yeah, that's what we've got going on. I just need to unpause these things and let them build and start letting them work. And with this one turned on, I can probably go ahead and have this one. Although I think 2 is enough, actually. Isn't 2 enough for this whole workflow? 36, so 72, and then you're using 36, 36. No, I need all 4 of them. If these are running consistently, I need all 4 of these. It's a straight up 1-to-1. 36 oxygen for that cycle, 36 oxygen produced. So I will need all of these eventually. But the reason for the balancer here, to finalize things and wrap it up, is I want it to be smoked out, if you will. I want it to be eliminated if it doesn't need to be. In hindsight, probably could have put the smokestack over here and just led nitrogen to be all the way through here, and then just had both nitrogen and oxygen fed through here. I might change that between videos. It's not that difficult. You just reroute these pipes to go the other direction, and then you pop it right here. So it's not that big of a deal. I'm all right with it. And yeah, that'll end up for us just being able to have one of these smokestacks, or I just build another one. They're not that expensive, and like it's not a big deal to just even to just put one here would probably work just fine. If this thing's full, then whatever, right? So I think for now I'll just put the one in, and yeah, if it can't go this way, then may it be possible to go this way, okay? And then we'll just, you know, it goes up the smokestack if it's that way. These things don't get completely clogged. Although, to be fair, there's really no reason to run these if this is full, because the job for these is to provide oxygen to here. So if this is full, there's no reason to run it, right? Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that, actually. And I'm talking my way out of it here. Here we go. Because honestly, I don't care if these things get clogged. They don't have any impact whatsoever on the workflow if the stuff ahead of it isn't working. So yeah, we'll just let it run then. So there we go. We're generating extra fuel. You have it right there. Very good. That's going to provide extra fuel for the rest of the ships, so they can keep working, hopefully. I'm not seeing that happening, though, which is a bit odd. We should be delivering fuel here pretty consistently. I think... Oh, I see. It's routed from the back tank. That's why. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. We'll route everything from the front tank, and maybe just... Can we just route things from here? Yeah. Why don't we just set up a route? And we can say that you can go... Oh, you can't. Okay. Honestly, I might just pipe this shit all the way through instead of having trucks do it. That might be good. Also, I'm noticing... Oh, hang on. You go up this one, and then you go around. Yeah, that's fine. You can get there. Yeah, so why don't we try this? Why don't we have a truck assigned here that always just goes back and forth and does its job. And we'll have a truck assigned to this one too. Say 2 trucks that are dedicated to nothing but just bringing fuel to these ships. You know, I think that's probably fair. That'll probably work out just fine. So we'll say it'll be here. It'll be this tank. And what we'll do is we'll say that we want to output to there and there. And the dedicated trucks that are responsible for that should just go off and do it then. And then you're trying to get there. We can't do that. So yeah, I need to get rid of that route too, it looks like. Yeah, okay, good. So no exports from there. Exports are allowed on this one. And there you go. Now the trucks will go and bring it to the other, the other things. Now this is interesting. You guys dug out the land and it is falling in from here, which is not a good thing. You've dug... Yeah, you dug here, but I didn't wrap the... I did not wrap the wall. So I'll need to wrap the wall, and then I'll need to tell them to fill this back in so that it's stable. Yeah, so let's get that back in. You raise and lower it until it lets me place it. Not sure when that'll be. Interesting. You really won't let me place that here now, huh? Okay, tell you what, I'm gonna need to dump things here then, because I can't have that wall. I can't have that wall collapsing. So we're gonna fill that back to 2. That's gonna be a thing you do. You're gonna dump that back to 2. However else you do it, it doesn't look like it's too bad. It's more of a chance to collapse. But if this collapses, then this goes. And if this goes, then these will go. And if those go, then the rest of it goes. It's just a domino effect, right? So, like, I got to have that filled in. So definitely no more mining near this. It's already down to height, thankfully. But no more mining near this until this is all filled in again. No idea how they'll do that. It would be very nice for this thing to just allow me to build this wall here, just to guarantee that it can't. But tell you what we'll do instead. Let's have, let's mark this as a dump site, right? And then what we'll do is we'll space it out to where we can put the other walls in. Well, I can't because the terrain is down, can I? Yeah, well. Yeah, that's the problem. That's an issue. I didn't think they would. I just wasn't paying attention. That square, right, is not all the way. Put the short wall. Can I put the short wall in here? Because all it really needs is the short one. If you let me, yeah. Do this and this. That. Yeah, and then again, we want you to just fill this in. But this will hopefully basically secure it so that the land here doesn't fall further in, right? But this is what should have been the whole time. You got to have the wall go all the way to the mining square. It's got to go all the way to the edge. If it doesn't, then you get this problem. And that's my bad. So I just didn't measure that out correctly. And I don't know, it might cost me this, but I'm hoping it doesn't. Let's hope it doesn't. And then again, we're going to just make sure we mark this as a dumping site. And we want this to be dumped to -2 at least. Same thing here. We'll just make sure all this gets dumped to -2 and go from there. They should start dumping that. I don't know exactly if they can reach it yet, but we'll see. Anyway, pending that thing falling, I think we've kind of solved the issues we had before. We're going to be generating more steam as we look to repurpose the extra naphtha now off to where we need to go. As we get hydrogen production, we can then start using this plethora of heavy oil we have. Instead of burning it like this, we can start using the extra heavy oil to create additional resources for more steam too. So now that the fuel is being made in abundance, that's what I needed to see. We can then set up cracking units to start using that extra fuel to make more naphtha, and then that naphtha is steam, which will then feed into this power system for upgrades later. Okay, so we got a plan. All right, we just got to execute the plan. All right, we just got to execute the plan. But I do like seeing all these things fire because it means it's working. All right, that just means that it's happening exactly as it needs to happen. All right, and look, electronics. Yes, solved the electronics issue too. Very good. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for me on this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. The next video we'll do most likely is getting the seawater completely connected. I think this will probably be done before I record again. Videos are taking just a little bit longer to do now because there's a lot more planning involved and things are a bit more complicated. I also like to remind a few of you, I've had some comments about this already, in which I would say it's rude, but you know, I mean, people want content, and I can't discount the fact that they just want to watch what I have to offer, and that's really humbling, and it's a good thing. But I just want to remind you guys that I am a human being. I do have a life outside of this making videos for you guys, and you know, YouTube does not like pay all my bills, right? It's not like a full-time income thing right now. So if you could be patient, there will be sometimes days where there aren't videos. I know, shocking, but there will be sometimes days where I try my best to give you one video a day, but I make absolutely no commitments to do so. My family always comes first, and my health comes first. And you know what? That's just the way it goes, and it's never going to change. So hopefully you guys, if I have a day, maybe two, maybe even a week, there's no videos, I hope at least you know that I haven't abandoned anything. I just have other things happening, and I will try my best to get back to it as fast as I can. Okay? Take it easy. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.